Hi, welcome. Good morning to everybody here. We've just had the Vodacom Durban July Gallops, where the horses were put through their paces, and we've got together a panel to discuss those gallops today. And I'll introduce my guests. On my left, I've got Kevin Shea, former top jockey. Kevin, thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, absolute pleasure, Lef. It's been an exciting morning, and looking forward to discussing it with you guys and see what your fancies are as well.
And on my right, another famous jockey, now a trainer, Garth. Thanks very much for joining us as well.
Nice being here, thanks, Paul.
And on the right, we have a bookmaker, former champion rider in Mauritius, Pierrick Mojan. He's with Track and Ball, and he's going to keep us up to speed with what money has come for the different horses. The format this year, while we talk about the gallops, we're going to work our way up from the two reserve runners all the way up to the favourite, which is Bella Bella, and we're going to get impressions of the gallop. So, Trophy Wife, we did not have a gallop for Trophy Wife, but we'll start off, Kevin, with Deputy Judd. And before we start, it's wonderful for the Van Furens. They put so much money into the game, and they've got the horse who won the Triple Crown in Abashiri, and Deputy Judd's a very good horse too, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely. He ran a great race last time. As Mark, as he spoke to me in the parading, there's excuses for his two previous runs, and he was nearly spot on. He found solid speed, not solid speed, he found Cape speed to catch him close to the line. But yeah, it's good he deserves to be an emergency runner, and it would be interesting if he got in the race, because he's a free striding horse, and that's what we really need in the races, is to get a decent pace on.
Very good point, that if he got into the race, he's the type of horse who can ensure there's a gallop. Taken very quietly, obviously, today.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's a fit horse, and I think he's a picture of good health, so I think he just brought him here to show the public. And I agree with you, it would be nice if he got in the race, because he's a galloper and he doesn't stop. I think he's the kind of horse that could ensure that it's a true run race.
Yeah. Now, Pierrick, are you laying bets on these horses that are reserve runners?
No, not the reserve runners at the moment, Paul.
They'd have to get into the race to be...
They have to get into the race, that's correct.
Okay,
yeah.
no problem. So basically we didn't see Trophy Wife, but we did see Deputy Judd and those famous silks. So now we're going to work our way up from the horses that are carded to race in the 18 runners. And we're starting off at the bottom with a 66-1 shot in Saratoga Dancer. And now giving Duncan Howells a second string to his bow, and wonderful new owners getting a crack at the big race. Kevin, he's a very good horse in his own right, but as the betting suggests, he's up against it.
Yeah, Laf, as we spoke on the gallops, he's definitely got to put his best foot forward here. He's the lowest rated horse in the race. I thought a bit of a controversial runner. I thought maybe a Trophy Wife or something would have got in before him, but that's how it works. There's controversial every year in the July with the bottom two horses. So it's just one for the guys to write a story about and go from there. But I think he got his work cut out here. The draw 17 doesn't help. You'd like to see a horse like this drawn in the first 5 or 6. So that would give him like half a chance. But he's got his work cut out here. But as Duncan Howells alluded to, he's fit, he's sound, he's had a good prep, and he's going in trying. And he's got the young Craig Zaki on who deserves to get a shot at the big race. And I think he's riding very well, and he shouldn't be a problem in the race.
Garth, a very good moving horse this.
Yeah, a very good moving horse. I think he's got a hard ask here. It's a tough field. It's probably his biggest ask to date. But it's nice. And saying that, it's nice for any owner to have a run in the July, and for a trainer to have two horses in the July, is a feather in his cap.
I agree with you. Wonderful for Duncan Howells who gets him. And Craig Zaki is a very good rider, as Kevin says. Now Pierrick, you've had to manipulate your betting once you got the final field, and this horse might not have been in the equations early. Is this as short as he's been, 66-1?
No, definitely, Paul. I think closer to the race, I think you'll see this horse drift out a bit more. At 66-1, I don't think there's much value, but I think he was quite lucky to get into the race. I think closer to race time, you might see it go out to close to 100-1.
Okay, there'll be 100-1 for those of you, the Rick Nids and Gary Westwater and partners. They could get about 100-1. It comes with a 95 merit rating. It's drawn 18. It certainly has a lot to do. But he's the type of horse who could impress and could improve. Kev, let's move on to the next one in the betting. 33-1 about the imported horse, Samurai Blade. Now, Samurai Blade, I thought galloped very well this morning.
Yeah, he did. He gave a good account of himself. I don't know really much about the horse. I've seen his 1 or 2 runs of him in Johannesburg. I was surprised, not surprised he got in, but I didn't really know much about the horse left. So it'd be interesting to see 33-1. Andrew Fortune gets a ride for Sean Terry. We've got a nice draw of 6. As we all know, Andrew Fortune's riding at the top of his game, and really, I think at that price, I think he'll even go bigger. He could be a nice horse to put in the back of quartets.
Yeah, Garth, I was pleased with the work today. And Garth, he showed his ability when he tried to dethrone Abashiri, the champion. He ran a great race that day in the Derby.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him either, Paul, but I must say that he's obviously brave. You know, Sean Terry horse is going to come into the race fit. And this morning he moved well. I mean, he moved alongside a horse that I think is one of the top weights that is a proven horse. So it was a good workout.
Good workout. And then, any money for this horse, Pirik?
No, Paul, not much money for it. Again, it's Sean Terry and Andrew Fortune. You got to always respect them. You might get a little bit better closer to race time, but the horse worked well this morning. I think he's definitely in with a shout.
Don't forget, people out there, that they are playing 6 places in the Vodacom Durban July this year. So this is the type of horse with Andrew Fortune, ex-champion jockey of the country, a very good rider who has X factor. All right, let's move on down to a horse that we've now got Pierre Stradum riding, the Conglomerate, 25-1. Striker Stradum needs no introduction, and Kevin, he's going to get the best out of this horse.
Absolutely. 25-1 with the Striker Stradum horse. I think is big odds. Unfortunately, I think the bookmakers have realised he's drawn 20, which is not in your favour on such a tight track as we have now. But the Conglomerate and Dynamic and 10 Gun Salute, they all form that same form. So I think that's why they're all quite big prices. So I think the draw's going to play a major part here. But Pierre Stradum, he knows what to do. He'll give a good account of himself.
The other day at the lunch, Garth, Joey Ramsden was at his humorous best, and he did say that this horse is really flying at home.
Yeah, and Perry mentioned to me that he's shortened from 25-1 to 20, so Ramsden will be happy. Yeah, I reckon he's a horse that, like you said earlier, he's probably got a big race in him somewhere, but it's a big ask. And then again, he's got one of South Africa's best riders on board. And if anyone knows how to do it from an outside draw and get all settled in a slow run race, is what I see, he's got the right guy on top.
Pirik, when they did the draw, obviously you had to sit there and wait, you and the bookmakers around the country, and your track and ball team had to decide how we're going to price up, and the draw is a big factor. Another factor must be Joey being able to get Striker Stradum.
Yeah, I think Striker was a big move. He knows what it's about from draw 20. He won on Pomodoro from the same draw. He's actually ridden the Conglomerate once before in Cape Town, and he won on the horse, so he knows the horse. I think 25-1's a big odd.
Has it been a bit of nibbling?
Not too much, Paul, but I think closer to race time, I think you'll see the horse coming in a bit. There'll definitely be the followers.
All right, that's the Conglomerate. Interesting fact that Striker's ridden it once and he's won on it. Kev, I agree with your point that Dynamic, the Conglomerate and Saratoga Dancer have very similar form, with Dynamic shading them every time. Now, it's great for Hassan Adams and his partners. Hassan's got 2 runners in the race.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You'll have to be an owner or a trainer to have 2 runners in the race, yeah. But Dynamic, for me, I know he's finished in front of these horses all the time, but he just seems to just hasn't got the wow factor. Just can't finish it off at the moment. So, listen, Lyall drawn 1.
Just touching on Lyall, fantastic the way his career's going lately. He's really on an upward curve. And you've talked about the great excitement when you bring a horse onto the course and you turn it onto the grass and there's 55,000 people cheering for you. This is an apprentice having his first ride. A wonderful moment.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to remember it for the rest of his life. But yeah, Justin Snape, he gets his horses fit and well. But I just feel there's other horses in the race that might just have the edge on Dynamics. I'm going to pass him by. I know he's drawn 1 and I know Lyall's having his first chance, but I'm going to pass him by Laffa. I'm going to say he's got his work cut out in this field.
Garth, can you recall your first ride in this big race?
Yeah, I can.
Who was it?
It was horse of Henry Eatles. I ran second to Shorthead.
Rockin' Boy?
No.
Storm Signal?
That's my man.
Yet again beat him. That's right. Yeah, we're going back, Garth. We're showing our age, but it's just one of those occasions that you look forward to as a rider.
Oh yeah, I think every single South African jockey aspires to winning this race, and there's good, I'd say even great riders that have come out of this country that haven't won this race. And some of them are partaking in the race on Saturday. So you've got to understand that everybody going through that academy wants to win the July.
People are angling and trying to work out who the pacemaker is going to be. And a lot of people have said draw one with the youngster. It's going to get up there. He likes to race up there. Can you see this horse leading early?
Oh, he'll definitely lead. His biggest thing is to get out the stalls, his first ride, so he's going to make sure that he jumps. And this is a strong horse. This is not a horse that you're going to restrain too easily. So when he's trying to hold his position, the race is normally on until the 1600 meter. And then from there they'll try and ease it up, because the outside horses try and come over, the inside horses try and hold them out. So that you've got a race on your hands for the first 600 meters. And I think he'll find himself in front at the 1600 on the downhill, and I think this horse will take him along. I don't think he'll have much option other than to make the pace.
Can he win?
No, I think you just got to look at these top trainers, and you've got to just look at the engagement of riders, and then you can see nothing against Lyall, but he doesn't have the experience at this moment in time. Hopefully for him to win, it'll be like a dream come true. But he's engaged the top guys for the rest of his horses, so you've got to look at it like that. And I think he's held by his stable companions plus other horses.
Well, Pirik, we did talk about how the draw is such a big advantage, and I remember sitting and watching Marsh, Shirtliff and Marinesco. They came here to pull a draw, and they didn't get to pull a draw. They were left with a draw, and it was draw 19 for theirs. We'll touch on it later. Is there any money for this? Is there any sentimental money for the youngster?
No, not really, Paul.
Mother backed it.
Yeah, you know what? It's great to see Lyall having a ride in the race, but you know, Paul, at 25 to 1, I don't see any value there. Obviously, it's a Lisa Fancy and Justice Nath's yard. It might just be there to set a pace, but I don't think Justin wants a pace. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I think you'll get better on race day.
All right, so we're going to get better if you want to back young Lyall Hewitson. Now we're moving down to 20 to 1 shot. And Kevin, this is Rocketball, who's a Judd pot, another Judd pot in the final 20. And Kev, this was, again, it nearly upset the apple cart when it nearly won the Derby, the third leg of the Triple Crown, which Abashiri won. Then it showed its well being in the Daily News, finishing fourth of a dead pace. A horse who seems to be improving.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a full credit to Gavin van Zyl. I mean, he's had a sparkling career so far as a trainer. I'm just worried about him, just looking at his temperament today. You come to the big day and there's a lot of excitement, and you're walking a little bit longer around the parade ring, and then coming out and seeing all the big crowds. Behind the pens, they keep you for another 10, 15 minutes. He's going to have to just settle down a little bit, this horse. He got himself at a bit of a tiz today, but you don't want him to expose himself and burn up all his energy before the race. But his form speaks for itself. He nearly upset the apple cart with Abashiri, but he was lucky to get that close. I think Abashiri wasn't at his finest ride that day, but he did get there that close. But his next run in the Daily News was a good run off a slow pace, so he deserves his spot in the field here. Warren Kennedy, Gavin van Zyl, you never know. A horse like this, if he produces one of those big runs, he could end up in the back end of your quartets.
Okay, that's the story now. Kevin's right there. He did get a little washed out today.
Yeah, I think, but Paul, you must also look at it. The stable companion did him no favours.
Yeah.
Had the stable companion jumped and gone, he was ducking to the inside of the dolls, and that got him worked up. He started off and he stopped, and he started off and he stopped. I think with a decent stable companion, he would have jumped into it. He would have looked a lot better. His form is good. The run in against Abashiri was a great run. Saying that Abashiri did go a little bit early, but yeah, he deserves his lineup. He finished nicely fourth last time, and I think come the big day, if his temperament's a little bit better, he's one of the 3 year-olds that could be there.
Okay, Pirik, you watched him work today, and people have been concerned that he got washed out, he got excited, but Garth's given us a good reason for it. He's 20 to 1. Is that value when you got so close to a horse like Abashiri? I know Abashiri is going to have to carry the weight this year, but Abashiri looks the standout horse. Is he a horse that can threaten firstly, and is this value 20 to 1, or should he be bigger?
Well, Paul, I think after his workout today, I think he'll get better.
Yeah.
I think from what they saw, I understand what Garth says. The stable companion didn't help him at all. But I think after that workout, we'll definitely get better.
All right, so that's it. Everything we've spoken on, you can get better. Just shows these guys, typical bookmakers, have gone in shorts and no one can get on. Kev, what do you think of the bookmakers?
I like to stick them out, but they seem to get the edge on me.
They've got your number.
They got my number.
Kev, let's move on to Mambo Man, another 20 to 1 shot, who's a very good horse. When one considers the Daily News being run at extremely slow pace, as was the Will Avington that day when the Vodacom Durban July favourite won it, this horse is a member in Seattle, and suddenly people are taking notice of the stallion. And Dean Canama has won in these colours. He's a master of preparing them. Kev, I'm very impressed with this horse.
Yeah, Laf, I think he's had an amazing preparation. There is the question mark about him. Does he stay the 2-2? And we've discussed it with Dean as well. But in the 2000, they went very slow in his last run. They went very slow, so it brought all these horses quite close together. But he got the distance, and he was running on at the finish. He's had a spot-on preparation. Dean quietly fancies his horse. He's got Keegan DeMello gets the ride, which is, I think, a fantastic rider. Knows how to hold his own. Drawn 13, not too bad. I think he's going to give the horse a little bit of a chance, but this horse, I think, is a serious runner. Don't put a line through this horse.
Garth, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think he's not the soundest of horses. Although he came down well today. I mean, he was travelling nicely. He normally runs from off the pace, so the draw's not going to worry him that much. The slow pace will probably suit him. And I tend to think he'll get the distance. I think he's had good efforts, and I think he'll be there. Whether he can be good enough to beat Solid Speed, another question. But I think there's not much between them.
Look at the young rider, Keegan DeMello. He's worked his way up into the top ranks as riders. You were a great rider in your day. What do you think of Keegan DeMello?
No, he's a top boy, and you know what happens to all these young riders coming up? They need one of these. This is the cherry. You get this, and you get a little bit more confident. All of a sudden, you're in the league with the big boys. He's right there. He can hold his own, as Kevin says. He's a fluent rider. He just needs that crack, that one big one, and then the people reckon, well, he's got the experience.
Absolutely right. We're looking at, this is the last 20-1 shot that you guys are offering. I don't know if you're going to get much better on the day. That's my comment. What do you think?
I think go out there and grab as much 20-1 as you can. I think you won't find it after today. I think you worked very well. I think it's a horse that's going to come in for a bit of money.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I thought he worked very well. Now let's work our way forward, Kevin. We've got 10 Gun Salute, the imported horse. Also a horse who's shown a lot of ability. Was not helped by the slow pace in the Daily News, but was really closing up at the end. This bit unknown for me, but I think a very good horse.
Yeah, you just have to look at him, Lef. He's a magnificent specimen. 5.5 lengths behind Solid Speed. Solid Speed is a fancied running in the July. 2 lengths behind Black Arthur. Black Arthur, I think, drawn in the first 8 of the field. He would have been favourite. 2 lengths behind Robard. He's been one of my favourite horses ever since he was a 2-year-old Robard, and he's just proven me. He's proven me well. Although his trainer Mark, as he told me that he had one better than Robard, I said if he's one better than Robard, I'll eat it. Anyway, that was Abashiri. So I've got a lot of eating to do, but. Yeah, he's a serious horse. He was hopelessly placed in the Daily News. Came out 5-6 wide in a straight, and he mowed them down to run 5th, getting beaten 2 lengths. I thought it was a good run. I think if he's given a chance in a race like this, he could be a horse that definitely finished in the placings.
Garth, he strode out nicely, this horse.
Yeah, look, he is a good mover, and he's a horse with loads of ability. I mean, as a young horse, he beat the older horses. So I think he's like all the 3-year-olds. There's very much of a muchness. There's not a lot between them. And, you know, when it comes to these races, Paul, it comes down to the luck in the running. You've got to have luck in the running. Yeah. And obviously, the faster the pace, the better it'll be for everybody.
Yeah. And we're looking at 18-1. 18-1, 10 Gun Salute. What do you think, Pirik?
Yeah, Paul, I think he was very unlucky in his last run. I think as well, there's not much between the 3-year-olds, as Garth says. I think 18-20-1 is about the right price for him. Let's see, you might get a bit of 25s, but I don't think you'll get much more. I think he's in with a chance.
While we got you talking about it, who gives us the betting? Who works out these odds?
Paul, we've got a society that compiles it, a group of guys that compile the betting. Not an easy job to do.
No, I can imagine, because you've got people out there waiting to punt them. But let's move on to another 18-1 shot. Kev, winner of a Group 1 last time, the second runner for Hassan Adams, Mac Delago, and you know, we were talking earlier about Waiho having the bad luck, if you can use that term, of being beaten after winning the race, losing in the boardroom. This horse picked up a Group 1 last time out, winning it in the boardroom as well. They say it's karma, but it was a very good win, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Striker Stratum gave him a great ride. He gets Bernard Fader Herb on now, who knows the track, and he knows I think he's a very good rider. His rating of 114 doesn't lie. Drawn 16. I just think the racing gods out there. I know for Waiho to lose a July in the boardroom was very unlucky, and you just never know how this game works. Sometimes it comes around, but maybe winning it in the boardroom last time was his break. But yeah, just on pure luck, that the way I need that things could go right for him now, and this horse could end up just popping up. So it wouldn't be out of turn, because Hassan Adams is a great person, and Wayo also too, he knows how to train him.
Garth, Mac Delago, Bernard Fader is going to be comfortable at 59.5. He's always been a big lad. It's tough for him, but now comfortable 59.5, and he's going to have to plot from a deep draw. How would you ride this horse?
Bernard's not comfortable at 59.5.
Is he not?
No way. Bernard sweats for 60. He sweats every day of his life. Bernard runs from Camps Bay to Sea Point and back again every day.
Sounds like my bank manager.
Yeah, I know what it's like to be in that boat. Look, I think he's obviously going to get a top rider. I think he's one of the better riders in the country, better riders around. And I think this was a turned the corner when they gelded him.
Yeah.
I think he showed that promise, and then obviously he was getting stuck. And he's got that high rating for a reason, and he's picked up a Group 1. But I do think it's going to be tough. I don't say he's out of it, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, a horse like that, Pirik, Mac Delago, I think it's going to be, as Garth says, tough. So you've got him in at 18 to 1. Will he get better on the day on this one?
Paul, it's hard to say. I mean, lots of the Shrudies were on this horse a few weeks ago. I don't think the penalty it incurred for its last win will help it, has helped it a bit. It got 7 points for its last win. You could possibly get a little bit better from the draw. The draw also hasn't helped it, so it's got a lot against it.
Okay, let's move on to Gavin Lorena's ride. Now, champion jockey Gavin Lorena will be back in town with champion trainer Jeff Woodruff, and they've got Master Sabina running, and Michael De Brolio has always been a very lucky owner. Jeff's got this horse down here. He showed he's a top horse when he raced in Gauteng. Kev, what do you think of Master Sabina?
Lef, I must be honest, his work this morning, we saw him at Reinkiesfontein, pulled it out to the top of the straight, and he really quickened well. He looks very healthy. He is a 6-year-old. I think he's very, very well weighted for a 6-year-old. If you remember last year or the year before, he won the July Consolation, beating Alexander, was a very good win. Anton Marcus up on him. So he knows the track, he knows the course. People might say he's a Johannesburg horse. I don't think so. What I saw this morning, I was quite impressed. Jeffrey Woodruff looks, I hope the horse is striling out more than Clive Napier down there. But yeah, he's a serious horse. He's a mature horse now. He's a 6-year-old. He's very well weighted. Gavin Lorena, top jockey. I thought his work this morning was very, very good, and I thought 16 to 1, if you can maybe get a bit of 20 to 1, this will be good value for money.
Garth, what do you think?
Look, the combination of Woodruff and Lorena, top. Jeff knows how to get them ready for the big ones. He's a different class trainer. And Lorena, a good rider, but he's running out of years. He's 6 years old. Can he beat the younger up-and-coming horses? A question mark. And he's got to travel down here. But I won't write him off.
Pirik, again, Gav Lorena has his supporters, as is Jeff Woodruff. We've just been told about that. 16 to 1. You concertinaed a lot from 12 to 1 and 20 to 1, and this horse is right in the middle of that group.
Paul, I think that's the way that the July is this year. I think it's very close, it's very open. Lots of horses are in with a chance. You can't write any of them off. So I think Master Sabina with Gavin Reno on is definitely a runner.
Okay, now we move on to Robard, and Robard is a very good horse. We saw him win the Daily News. He was just beaten in the Guineas. When he won the Daily News, unfortunately, the rider did lose the stick, and he kept rolling to beat some very good 3-year-olds who were coming through. This has always been a very good horse, and the Brains Trust have elected to run him in a R1,000,000 race against what I've termed an inferior field, 600 grand up for grabs, then to run him back in this race. Let's look. We obviously didn't see him gallop here, Kev. We saw him work up at Summerfeld as Mark as he prepares him for Sunday. He's a very good horse.
Yeah, his form speaks for himself. As I alluded earlier, he was my favourite 2-year-old. I thought he really was going to be a superstar, which he has proven to be. But Marquez, he had another string in his bow with Abashiri. But this horse is a gutsy horse, Lef. I think his preparation has been very good. I think he's 110% fit now, and he's going to have the run on Sunday as well. Take him back, freshen him up, bring him back for the July. He likes to race quite handily as well. I think Mark would, if he does run, which I think, well, we'll take it as he is running, I would like to see this horse in the first 2 or 3 placed, and be able to dictate his own pace, or even have a horse in front of him to cover him like Anton had him last time. But you leave this horse out at your own peril. He's very fit, and you'll see that his run on Sunday will just prove you how good this horse is.
Yeah, he's a serious horse, Garth.
Yeah, he's a serious horse. I mean, we had a discussion before. I don't really think the mile Sunday is going to do him any favours. I know he's going to go back and try and freshen him up. He's got a top trainer. He's a good horse. He probably could win the mile. I wouldn't say unextended, because they don't win unextended, but and he's a horse that does it. That's what worries me. He's a horse that goes down with the lead pony. He does his work. He's going to take more out of himself than Mike would like him to take out of himself. You pick up that check, and you got 6 days to get ready for the July. A big ask, I must be honest, to come out again, and he'll be up there in the July. And the big question mark was, will he be over the race? Will he be over the run before?
Valid point. All right. Garth and I did discuss this at length, and I'm in the camp of take the 630,000 if you're good enough on Sunday and try and come back. And Garth, as you just alluded to, it's a tough call. Now, this is a Pyrrhic, a Group 1 horse, a multiple Group 1 horse, and 15 to 1, it's not bad odds.
It's not bad, Paul. You know, I think he'd have value if it wasn't running on Sunday. But like everyone says, I don't think he can run on Sunday and come win the July. So I think after winning on Sunday, I don't think he can lose on Sunday. I think he'll get better on July Day. I don't think he can win both.
Fair enough, good point. So we've got a split in the camp there. But let's move on to an interesting horse. Now, for those of you who noticed, when they did the final draw for the field, Arthur Marcus and the Eoster horses didn't put their riders down because they wanted to look at the draws. Arthur, rightfully so, wanted to see where they drew. And he's ended up taking this horse, Tropez, who comes out of trap 11. I was speaking to Kevin when we watched the Gallops, and Kevin, you put a good point forward. There's every chance Marcus takes this horse to front.
Absolutely. Anton Marcus, you just stand up and take respect, whatever he rides. 2 months ago, I asked Anton, what is he looking to ride in the July? And he was umming and ahhing. He says, Tropez. I said to him, not good enough. You start looking deeper, you know. And he's proven himself. He ran a cracking race last time. Just the Anton Marcus, Joey Ramsden factor. He's drawn 11. I wouldn't be surprised if this horse is out there leading. And you know, when Anton Marcus is in front, you stand up and take note. He's a master at riding like that, and he's a good stayer, this horse. I think if he stretches him out a little bit, he could find some chink in some of the others' arms.
That's a very good point there, Garth. You know, do you remember, think back to Arthur Marcus taking, I think, what's it, Hill 54, the captain at the front in the Met, keeping him out of trouble and winning the Met. Arthur Marcus is the tactician. People have always said that. If a man can sit there and plot things. And Kevin, being a tactician himself, and you as well, in this big race, there is a possibility to say, let's go from that draw.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he knows he's got a fit horse. He's obviously picked the one of Eustace, and this is the one he picked, and he had the choice of a couple of horses, all with good chances. So I think the last run was a good run, a great rider, waited with the 3-year-olds, something to look at, and bang on form. And like the Conglomerate, he's a horse that has a big one in the tank, and I think a big runner.
All right, and let's have a chat now. The Marcus factor comes into it. He's won on horses that have been at long odds before. He's won this race. Dunford springs to mind, thank you. Now, 13 to 1. Lucky for some?
Lucky for some. I don't think it'll be around for too much longer. I think it's another one that will start a bit shorter. The punters follow jockeys, so Anton Marcus will definitely come in for some money.
Okay, there we go. We're just moving on now to Kevin, a horse who's bred to win this race, and that's It's My Turn. Fred Krabby is having a wonderful run. He's got good 2-year-olds, good 3-year-olds. He's won the Derby. This horse is by Dynasty out of a Jalad mare, coming along the right way. Richard Faree, he knows this race well. This horse is, a lot of people are saying this horse is going the right way at the right time.
Yeah, he's drawn 14. It's not the most favourable draw to have, but he'll come in 1. If Deputy Jug doesn't run, he'll come into 13. Just looking at the jockey arrangements now, you would think that Anti-Del Pesh and they got Dougie White, they'd have the choice of riding one of the others in the race. They'd have the choice. And just looking at jockey arrangements now, I'm going to say It's My Turn he's got it all to do. I think Justin Snaith's got better runners in the race.
It's a big comment. What do you think, Garth?
I think distance-wise, I make him a big runner. He won the Derby.
Yes.
You must remember, Black Arthur was in the race, and I know he came up the outside, but he gave them a hard. And he's run to Robard a good run. He's got a top boy on. He's won the July, so I can't fail to think that I think he'll be there.
Yeah.
I really do.
So do I. Now, it's my turn. I'm also a big fan of this, but as Kevin says, draw 14's tough. Richard Fourie, 13-1 again. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's about the right price, Paul. You know, I think it's definitely a runner. So I think 13-14-1 is about what you're going to get on this horse.
Yeah. Sorry, Garth?
I was saying this horse he's been over the 2,000 meters only twice, and I think his prep has been good. Guineas, Daily News second, third run. I think he's a horse that'll get the distance. I think he's got the right come on look about him.
Absolutely. I think wonderful prep. Now let's move on to arguably the best 3-year-old in the country. Not many horses can win the Triple Crown. This horse has shown, Kevin, that he's a really good horse. And it's wonderful that these owners have come at the game and they bought these horses. And Michael's bought them a serious horse here. Now, you have to go back to Horse Chestnut to win the Triple Crown. Kevin, it's a tough task. People have said, that the rider might have gone early. He might not. This horse quickens up better than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. First time I've ever seen him in the flesh today. Absolutely amazing horse. I haven't seen a horse stride out with a bigger stride like this for a long time. I'm just worried about his weight, 59. I know it's a lot of weight, but he's a real try, this horse. He's absolutely a crowd favourite. He's just something too special to look at. And Michael Azzi and the owners have chosen to, as a 3-year-old, to go in with 59 kilos. It's a very big ask for a horse like this, but you just had to see him today. Today he opened my eyes. I saw him. His stride is just absolutely breathtaking. And this horse, I've got to give him a chance. I don't care what anybody says. Although he's got the big weight on, I know. I rode a Triple Crown winner in the July, Louis the King, after he won the Triple Crown, and he was battling after he won the Triple Crown. It's a very hard task on a horse to go for those races. He gave 110%. I think if it was any normal horse, he would have got beat last time, but you could just see him. His will to win is there. He's a very special horse. He has got a hard task with 59, but the draw 2 all of a sudden puts him in the race. Carl's going to have to commit himself for 300 meters, get him out there, get him up there, get a nice position, and then just try and nurse him around with 59 kilos. But what you saw today is what you're going to get on the day. I've got to throw this horse. I've got to throw him in the mix. I don't care. I think he's a super special horse.
Garth, I agree with Kevin there. I think this is a superstar, this horse. He really has a lot to do. What I love about him is that stride, but his turn of foot, his acceleration from draw 2, Carl, the truth, shouldn't be too far off them with a bit of luck. He can straighten up and go past anything, this horse.
Yeah, I don't think he has to panic to be there, Paul. The reason saying, I think he turned it on too quickly in his last run, and that was just the lack of experience. And now, if you take that and the pressure that he had, Carl, going into that race, he's obviously come out of it, luckily for himself, on top, and he will have learned by that. Yeah. And the pressure, although it's the July, won't be the same. That was tremendous pressure for a young rider. I felt for him really, and I could see him, and I could just see how he was thinking. I mean, he was out of his ground, and he let it go, and this horse just took off. So I think on this track, with that action, as long as there's a little bit of pace, I don't think it doesn't matter where he turns for home, he'll run. I know on paper, and at the weights, he can't beat the other 3-year-olds. He can't beat some of the other 3-year-olds, but great horses carry weight and they overcome it. And I think this is one of those kind of horses that he's definitely going to be there. Doesn't matter. And I think Mark's done a great job in the fact that he hasn't run him. I thought originally this horse hasn't had a prep. He hasn't had a prep. I think that was the right thing. He had a hard campaign in Joburg, like Kevin said, and now he's freshened him up. I think he's gonna be a horse to contend with.
Pierrick, you were there at the draw, and Rika van Vuren draw number 2, and they were so excited. She was elated and jumping around, and it's a big plus. As Garth said, some people are saying it's a tough ask coming out of the Triple Crown. Kevin talked about Louis the King. Now, I'm a big fan of this horse. Is there money for this horse?
Paul, there's not much money, but I think 12-1 is actually good value. He's a great mover, and He's a people's horse.
Yeah.
I was walking around this morning, quite a few guys on course are saying, what's going to beat Abashiri? So he's definitely the people's horse. So they'll be here following it. He'll have his followers.
Yeah, I agree with you. As the people's horse in the last leg of the Triple Crown, this is a serious horse, and Michael will have him spot on the day. Right, now we're going down to single figures. We're getting into the last 5 horses in the betting. And Kev, we go to Solid Speed, who again is going to have plenty of followers.
Yeah, you saw him today. He's a magnificent animal. Both Solid Speed and Dean's other horse,
Mambo Man.
Yeah, both of them worked very, very well on the poly. Never before in the history of the July has the same jockey, same trainer, and same owner won it consecutively. So he's got that little mark against him. I think he's a serious, serious horse. I think Dean Kennemer has really, really prepped this horse very, very well. As Anthony Delpeche said last time, he pulled him out and just thought he'll just like coax him up to them because he takes time to get going. Before they went through the 400-meter mark on the top of the straight, he had gone past them, and he won a very good race. I think this horse is a serious, serious runner. Stu Randolph knows exactly what it is. 55 and a half, drawn 5. He's got everything in his favour. I think this is the horse all the guys are going to have to beat. And as we'll ask Peric just now, I think 9-10 to 1 about this horse at the moment. I think it's good value.
Yeah, certainly good value. And it's Dean has a way of getting this race right, Garth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this horse had a great prep. And this is an older horse that's carrying level weights for the 3-year-olds. And every 3-year-old will have to watch out for this horse. He's going to be running on strong at the finish. He'd also probably like a bit of a pace. He won't be far off them from a 5 draw. He's got a pilot that's now won the July, a big help. And I think one to watch out for.
Peric, Kevin's convinced the money's going to come for this horse. It's 9 to 1 now. This horse could shorten. It's got 3 ticks in the right boxes from the panel here.
Didn't it shorten yesterday, Peric? When I walked
Yeah,
on course, I said
from the draws. From the draws, it was shortened from 12 to 1 to
Sure,
9
Tom.
to 1.
It was my money. Okay, I'm on.
Yeah, Kevin's money's on it. He's in the camp. Definitely, Paul. I think it's going to shorten more. I think after the gallops today, I think you probably see this horse around 6-7 to 1.
You know, Lef, I'm sorry to interrupt. As Garth alluded, you know, he's a 5-year-old with level weights with the 3-year-olds. He's an 8-time winner. He's serious. He should be nearly top weight, this horse, and the 3-year-old should be close around 52. They're level weight, so it throws him straight into the game, straight into the mix.
Right, an interesting horse next is a horse we haven't seen race in this part of the world is Marinaresco. Marsh, Bryn, and I think Freddie own it, and this horse I knew nothing about, and I watched him, and I'd seen him run close to Black Arthur, and I knew he was a decent horse, but then he campaigned down there, and Mark Bass is a great trainer, and he's let him have his 2 wins, and he said, I'm not going for the last leg, I'm coming up here. Not a big horse, but a will to win, I believe.
Yeah, Lef, you can see they had problems with him when he was a colt, and eventually they convinced the owners in there to geld him. Just looking at him now, you can see he's a very aggressive horse. When he's next to other horses, he's got his ears back and he wants to fight and he wants to win. Mark Bass wouldn't have put this horse in the race if he didn't think he had a chance. The only problem I got with him now at the moment, Laf, is he's drawn in Toti.
Yes.
So he's not going to have it his own way. He's going to either have to drop out or try and place him up there. I don't know how they're going to ride this horse. I have watched him win in Cape Town, and he's won on his coconut both times here. I've seen him. So he looks a serious horse. 55 and a half as well. Drawn 17. We're going to have to wait and see with this horse. But he has got a lovely turn of foot and
Draw 19, Kev.
draw 19 now. Yeah. It's a hard ask, but at least he's yet to line up with the guys. But he has shown that he has got the form against some of the best horses.
Garth, you'd know those Cape races probably better than the rest of us here on the panel, and for Mark Bass to elect to bring this horse up here is a big statement. Unfortunately for Bryn and Freddie and of course Marsh, and they sat there coming to do the draw, they all pitched up, and there was only one left when it came for them to draw. So, how good is this horse?
I think he's a good horse, but then you've got to look at his form. And Black Arthur and It's My Turn have both beaten him. I know he was a one-time winner at the time. He's obviously improved. But then saying that 19 draw, it's not going to be easy. I was impressed with his gallop. He looks like a feisty kind of horse that, as Kevin says, pegs his ears back and wants to get past the horse that is ranging up next to. So it's like everything else. From that draw, luck in the running. And there's a lot of horses are going to need that.
Peric, isn't this a bit short? 6.5 to 1? Or?
Yeah, there was lots of early money for him.
Okay.
And then when the draws came out, he started to ease out in the bidding a bit. He's a serious horse.
Yeah.
But
you
I
get
think he'll
bigger?
ease out. I think he will. I think he'll go out a bit.
Okay, that's because of the draw. I think if it had drawn in the first 5, we might have seen more. 3 more to go now, and the next one we're going to talk about is the Guineas winner, Black Arthur. Kev, they elected to bring him here and have a gallop, and he galloped well. He looked good today. He wanted to get into his work, had a good blow today. He's obviously a very talented horse too.
Yeah, Lef, he's proven how good he is. He's really a serious horse. You get the service of Douglas White, which is a very big plus. I'm not sure that Justin's happy about the draw 17, but he'll come in 1 if he'll actually come in 2 if the emerging acceptors fall away. As we said earlier, I think if this horse was drawn in the first 5 or 6, I think he would have started favourite. I think only the draws, the only thing that's going to put a little bit of a black mark against him. For Anthony Del Pesce to choose the filly over him, he's ridden them both. You've got to respect that he's made this choice. I think he's a serious horse. Justin Snaith alluded to not run him again, kept him on the boil. So, yeah, he's a lovely horse. I'm just worried about the draw. The draw's against him, but I wouldn't leave him out your quartets. They play out 6 places. This horse could be a nice little 4th, 5th, 6th place horse to get a bit of place money.
What do you think? You'd know him well.
Yeah, I must say, I thought all along this was the horse to beat. I think the gallop from the 16 was probably the most solid gallop of the morning. Abashiri put up a good gallop, but this was went harder from further out. He obviously, not having run in the Daily News, they elected to give him a bit more work. But on Daily News Day, Justin brought him here and he put up a top gallop. I mean, he really ran against the clock the whole way. So I like his action. I like his attitude. He's got to, as Kevin says, maybe a 15 draw, 15, 17. It's much of a muchness. You're out there and you've got to overcome it. He's got the stamina. He ran up the inside in the derby when his stable companion won on the outside of the track. Other than that, he would have only been beaten in the 1400 debut. So I think one of the top 3 holes.
Eric, Dougie White's flying into town. He's got to go the convoluted route, and it's going to be pressed for time, but they're confident to get him here in time. Now, he's a jockey who's always been known to position a horse. He's got a tough call from draw 17.
No, it won't be easy, Paul. You know, this was the early money horse when the betting came out. Opened 40 to 1. All the Shrewies were on it. Eventually it was favourite. Anthony Del Pesce moving off this onto Bella Bella is what drifted the horse out slightly. He's a huge runner. With Dougie on, I don't think he'll get much better than 6 to 1 on the day. He's a big, big runner.
Right, 2 to go. French Navy. Kevin, a horse who's multiple Group 1 winner, loves this track. Showed in his prep the other day that things are going right.
Yeah, serious horse this. He's been unlucky a couple of times at Grable, finding trouble. He's got the big weight of 60 to carry. He's rated 115. He's got a nice draw of 4. I really make this horse a serious runner. I think his preparation's been world class. He gets the services of Washong mowing. What more do you want than that? I think this is the horse they all have to beat. So French Navy for me, I think is one to just keep your eyes out for. 11 to 2, I think is a genuine price. I think you might, if he drifts out a little bit more, he'd be a steal if you could get a little bit of 6 or 7 or 8 to 1. So it'd be one horse for me. I think is a horse to beat in the July.
Garth, listening to Washong talking about it, he said he hasn't won this race before, but he said it took Michael Roberts a lot of time to win it, and he thinks could be his year.
Look, I don't disagree with him. I think this older horse ticks all the boxes. He'll keep every 3-year-old honest. His form's brilliant coming into the race. If you just look at the horses that he's run with and the horses that he's run behind and the horses that he's beaten, he's trained by Sean Terry, who's well clear on the trainers list, a guy that knows about winning the July. He's got a strip of fit horse. I like the way he worked. I think, as Kevin says, this is a horse that will be a contender finish.
Peric, this race has been won by Chris Van Niekerk twice with Sean Terry. He seems to be a very lucky owner. And a lot of people are really big on this horse. It has shortened. At one stage it was 10, 12 to 1 about, am I right?
Yeah, that's right, Paul. Being a money horse, lots of followers. I think his last run was a terrific run. He came from stone last to run third. I think he'll be, on the day, he'll probably be your favourite on the day.
Yeah, there's a lot of people supporting this horse. Right, Kevin, now we're going to talk about the favourite. You're the last guy to have won on a grey filly in this big race, and was for the same stable, for Justin Snaith. Anthony has made the call. He made the call before the draw, so he's very big on it. The Will Avington was very impressive off a dead pace. What's your take on this grey horse?
Yeah, I've got to respect Anthony Delpech's judgment. I said to Anthony, a good colt will always beat a good filly, because he was on Black Arthur, and he said, that's rich coming from you, Kevin. You won on 2 3-year-old fillies, so I respect his judgment. She does quicken up very, very well. She's done nothing wrong. 3-year-old filly against these old horses, I'm not going to say she can't win, but I think 4-1's a little bit short for her. The reason why I think she's on there is Anthony Delpech has been the instigator of getting off Black Arthur and getting onto her, but she has done nothing wrong. That run behind Smart Call in Cape Town was absolutely amazing. I think if Smart Call was in here, it should be the shortest price favourite we've seen in July for a long time. So she has got the credentials to win a race like this, but she's got a nice draw. She's going to have to bring her A game, but...
Well, interesting comments from Kevin there. You know this filly, her run in Cape Town was very good. She's really ticking a lot of boxes. It's a very tough call, but if you were riding her now, would you be in the box seat when they draw?
He's going to have to be in the box seat. She's a slight filly with a big action. The July's rough. No one gives a quarter. So he's got to hold his own. They're going to be pressurising from the outside. I spoke to Anthony, and he said he didn't really jump ship. He just, she wasn't originally going to run, and then she swapped to be running. I think after the gallops this morning, you'll be thinking about it. I thought Black Arthur put up a stronger gallop, or physically looked a stronger gallop. She's a talented filly with a good action. She'll turn it on. The only thing in her favour is that she's got the draw, and there might not be all that much pace. As I see it, Dynamic will be fighting in front, and I think that's how it's going to be. And she does turn it on, but it's going to be hard for her. I think receiving 1 kilogram from the 3-year-old colts, it's a big ask. She's only contested with fillies. Her runs with Nightingale were too close, and then Nightingale came out in the Oaks. Might have been a bit far for her, but she fluffed the Oaks, and she ran 4th last week. And so he's got a little bit to think about.
Guys, just to stay on the riding of this type of horse, when you've got on your inside, you have Dynamic and you have the superstar Abashiri. They're on your inside now. You know you've got to go the first 300 metres at least. So you've got to hold your position there, because you're going to have the likes of Arthur Marcus and a few boys, Dougie White, thinking of coming over. How long does he have to keep it there before he ducks in?
He's going to have to keep it there to the 1,600 metres.
Is that far?
Yeah, he's got the draw. No, he's got to go the whole way. I mean, they'll be looking right up until the 1,600 metres, and eventually they'll fan out and they'll spread out. It's just one of those kind of races, and she's a slight filly.
Yes.
But he'll judge. He's a top-class rider in positioning horses. He'll watch how Lyall jumps on the inside, because he knows that's strong and that'll be up there. If Lyall happens to miss it, he's got a bigger fight.
Yeah.
Then he's got to go himself. He's got to hold him off, keep his position, and watch on from the outside and allow 1 or 2 to go past. He doesn't want to lose his position. He's on the favourite, or the ruling favourite at the moment. She's got the action. She's got the turn of speed. She's not a big filly. He doesn't want to get knocked around.
You have a slight reservation about her winning?
Yeah, I do.
Peric, our friend Kevin Shea believes that this is a bit short.
Paul, a week ago or a week and a half ago, we had 8-10 to 1 this horse. Anthony Delpech was confirmed on the ride, and the punters came flooding in. They came in to, I think they're backing Anthony's choice. Definitely a runner. I think she's got a lot to do. Looking at the gallop this morning, you might get better on the race day.
Goss, you smiling?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean, he was on Black Arthur at first, and Black Arthur came in with his money, so probably a lot of his mates have got their money on Black Arthur, and now they've got to probably try and cover themselves on this filly. Yeah, it's hard, eh? I think you can't write either off, but I think he's probably got a lot of mates and a lot of friends that are Black Arthurine at the moment.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Now, there's an old saying that if you want to win the Vodacom Durban July, buy a Silvano or buy a Dynasty. They've each got 3 runners. Look at last year's race. I think Silvano was 1, 2, and 3 in the race. They've got 3 in the race again this year. 3 very good horses. Dynasty's got 3 very good horses. And also the likes of Judd Pot and Mambo and Seattle starting to make their names felt. But what was interesting, every year we used to have Chuck and Bonesy, the witch doctor, come and throw his bones, and he just couldn't get it right. He was just way off. So this year they've decided to take all 20, put the pots with a bean in them, and they're growing. At this stage, I went across to scrutinize which bean or plant had grown the most, and I was going to give you the top 3 from the plants. And I think Mark Azzi has been watering them, because the numbers have 6, 3, and 2 from the plants, which, if I can just give you them, it's Robard, Abashiri, and Magdalaga are those that are growing the best. I know Mark left them in the sun, but Kev, a lot of people have omens for a race like this.
Yeah, absolutely. All the draws, all the places you go, all your watering holes, there's always draws. And I put my 50 Rand in, or 20 Rand, depends where it is. Wherever I go, I like to have a flutter in this race. It's just an amazing day. Just hope we can have this kind of weather. If we get this kind of weather, which apparently, walking in here, I spoke to somebody and he said apparently they're expecting good weather. So better the weather, the less clothes the women wear. So that's always fantastic. When it's raining, they all got their raincoats on. It's no good to us, eh? But yeah, so let's just hope it's a great day and the going gets fun. And if you ever look to your right here, you see Andrew Bond watering one of the plants. It must be.
I can see Andrew.
So
Yeah.
what
Andrew
number is it,
Bond.
Andrew?
Has he
We
got
wanna
longs
know.
on or shorts? There's Bonsky, the ace photographer, who's been out there filming and getting it together. Garth, just to conclude, and it's tough to put you on the spot, but were there horses in today's gallop who you think on that gallop going to have a lot to do on the day?
Yeah, they were definitely. I mean, a lot of horses didn't show their hand, obviously, because they're fit horses. I mean, Rocketball played up. Saratoga Dancer didn't go too fast. 10 Gun Salute, I thought, moved very well. I'm just looking down the line. Magdalaga only went on the potty over a short distance. He's obviously a fit horse, and they didn't want to do too much of him. I like the way the Conglomerate worked. Yeah, that's it. And obviously, Deputy Judge, the fit horse, he's a reserve runner. He just showed his hand.
All right, now before we conclude, Kevin, I'm going to ask you to pick one horse that you'd have an each way bet on, Kev. So value bet it would probably be.
There's definitely no doubt about it. Solid Speed and French Navy are the 2 value bets without a doubt. I'll be disappointed if those 2 don't finish in the first 6.
I'm going to have to let you have 2, Garth, because Kevin's overstepped the mark. So give us 2.
Yeah, he's right in the 2 value bets, but I'll go Black Arthur and St. Tropez.
Okay, and then what about you, Pirik? You're the bookmaker.
Sure. I'm going to go for the Canberra coupling, Mambo Man and Solid Speed.
Very well done, Pirik. And just to mention...
while I got you here,
Sure.
We did have all the timings done here today. And on times today, the one above here, let me see. Is it Abashiri? I think Abashiri was Magdalaga, the 400 to finish. I'm just trying to get my eyes on 1, 2, 3,
Kevin,
4.
you got it?
Magdalaga done the fastest 400 to finish.
Okay, very interesting. Well, just I've got a note here, just to let you know.
He went 300 meters.
Yeah, you went a shorter trip. It's easier to go quicker. There's a panel discussion that people might be interested in listening to at Sabina on Monday, because they managed to get Mike de Kock to come down and say a few words. And Mark Azzi, who's never short of a few words, and Jeff Woodruff, 3 leading trainers, and they're going to talk about everything from the sale to the big race, the Triple Crown. It'll be wonderful. So that's at Sabina on Monday at 7 o'clock. You can get down there and watch that. There will be panel discussions throughout the week building up to the race, but I'd like to thank my panel here for just giving you a little bit of a look at what happened today.